This right here is the very first SH Figuarts Luffy that Tamashii did, which was over 10 years ago, and this was not the only figure that they had made back then. They made Sanji, Nami, and an Ace.
Boy, if you don't get...
Yeah, thank God we finally got a new line of One Piece SH Figuarts, because these were definitely not good. I mean, the line died after these 4 figures, and for a good reason. They just didn't look like the source material much at all. So when Tamashii revealed the new One Piece SH Figuarts, everyone got excited for them. They looked amazing and way better than the older figures. But looks aren't everything, as we discovered much of the newer One Piece SH Figuarts have earned a bad reputation for bad QC issues such as falling apart and poor design choices. So it led me to wonder, was the original SH Figuarts One Piece figures that bad? I own the original Luffy and I actually think he's pretty good. But once you put the newest SH Figuarts Luffy that was recently released by him, we can definitely tell that over a decade separates them. And you'd think the newest version completely outshines the older one. And I'm here to say that that isn't necessarily the case. The first Luffy actually has some things that I like and prefer of the newest version. But at the same time, there's things that I prefer about the new Luffy.
なんで檻の中
Before we get the comparison between these two truly started, let's take a quick look at their packaging. We can definitely tell that there's a difference in packaging, as one is more modern while the other is definitely older. But I have no preference over either, as they both do their job well. To begin with, the newer Luffy looks way better than original. The difference is literally night and day. The old Luffy's skin is really tan, which in the anime during the pre-time skip, Luffy's skin was tan, but this is a little too much.
What are you doing?
Gotta keep the tan up. It's not a skin color, it's a lifestyle, Brian. See, you wouldn't know that because you're white as a ghost. You're haunting this house with your whiteness, Brian.
The new Luffy's skin is whiter, but has a much more natural complexion to it. The hat on the original, I like how it has a wash over it, because the new Luffy's hat is unseasoned, but at least it does have the 3 claw marks that Buggy put in it. Also, you can put this original hat on the new Luffy, and I think it looks pretty damn good. But you can't put the new Luffy hat on the original though, because of the hat's design. As for the vest between the two figures, I do prefer the new one over the old sorta, because the new one is a part of his sculpt, and has it to where he can move his upper diaphragm articulation around and crunch forwards, while the old Luffy's is a solid piece of plastic that allows for no extra articulation at all. But there is a cool feature to it, as it snaps apart and you can remove it, and now you can have a shirtless Luffy. They even included an unbuttoned vest that is a softer plastic material that I think looks way better than the closed version. This gives the original Luffy the option of 3 different looks, while the new one is stuck with one. Of course though, the new Luffy's vest looks way better, but imagine if it did have the same swappable vest features. That'd be goated as fuck. Then for the shorts on these figures, the newer Luffy's are more accurate as they are a lighter blue and are a lot bigger and baggier. The original Luffy shorts are darker and are really skinny. And speaking of skinny, the proportions on the original Luffy have them looking really slim, while the new Luffy's proportions are way more accurate. But going back to the shorts, each of the back of their shorts has some sort of design to not hinder knee bend. The original Luffy's is dug out some and allows his knees to bend a crazy amount. Then the new Luffy's only allows his knees to go this far, which is straight cheeks, and I know, the knee articulation on them is different, but we will talk more about that later. And lastly, for comparing the looks of these figures, we got us a dog fight. The new Luffy's dogs are out and barking, as he has toenails and toe knuckles. For the original Luffy's though, his toes look like he got some little nubs that have no bite or bark to them. Overall, in the looks department, I'm definitely going to have to give this to the newer Luffy, as his likeness is crazy spot on. The original Luffy doesn't capture Luffy's likeness well, but that isn't to say he's a bad looking figure, because he definitely has a weird charm and aura about him. But he still doesn't look the best, and the argument of, well, he was made like 10 years ago, and that's why he looks like that, really doesn't work on me, because around that time, Sentinel dropped this Ace figure, and his likeness is pretty fucking good. But hey, just because the new Luffy wins in the looks department, doesn't mean he wins in accessories. To start off with, the original Luffy comes with 5 face plates, and the new Luffy comes with 4. The original Luffy comes with a stern resting face, and then another stern resting face. The only difference between these two being the eyes are looking slightly up on one of them, and is hardly noticeable. He comes with a teeth smiling face, an angry yelling face, and then a goofy expression in face. The new Luffy comes with a teeth smiling face, a mouth open smiling face, an angry yelling face, and then a meat eating face. Comparing the faces side by side, the new ones are definitely a major upgrade. Well, except the goofy one on the original. I really love this face because it's just so damn funny and goofy. They each come with a hatless head, and they each don't come with a hat hanging option for their hatless head. Even 10 years ago, Tamashii did not want to include a hat hanging option with their Luffy figure. The original Luffy then comes with 6 interchangeable hands, he comes with 2 fisted hands, 2 jet pistol hands, and 2 holding something hands. While the new Luffy comes with 8 interchangeable hands. He comes with 2 fisted hands, 2 open hands, 2 clenching hands, a holding something hand, and then a finger point hand. The new Luffy definitely offers a better variety of hands. Both of these figures do come with a meat stick. The original Luffy's meat is a lot smaller and less detailed than the new ones. The new Luffy's meat is just so big compared to the original, like the length and girth is insane. But all jokes aside, it's cool that both of these figures come with a meat stick and both look pretty damn good. Even though I know the original Luffy gotta be jealous that the new Luffy got a bigger meat. And that actually concludes accessories for the new Luffy, But for the original, we still have more to talk about. The original Luffy comes with a Gum Gum effect piece. That's flipping right. This Luffy comes with a giant arm piece that is so much fun to mess around with. Now, it's definitely heavy as fuck and you're going to need a stand to support it, but it's still so awesome to have. The new Luffy sure could have used something like this. Oh wait, we gotta pay an extra $35 to $40 for his Gum Gum accessories. And then the original Luffy comes with a stand that has a cool design on it with his name. For the battle of who has the better accessories, I'm gonna have to say the original Luffy does solely because of the Gum Gum accessory. The score is tied to 1-1 right now, but surely the new Luffy shits on the old one in the articulation department, right? To begin with, they both have the same head articulation, which is good. The new one does have better neck movement though. The old Luffy's arms go higher than the new ones. They each have a bicep swivel. The old Luffy doesn't get as much bend at the elbow as the new Luffy's. Both of their wrist articulation is the same. Both of their arms can cross over one another effortlessly, but going backwards, the new Luffy definitely can reach further back. The upper diaphragm articulation on the old Luffy is not good and doesn't get hardly any good movement, while the new Luffy can move his upper diaphragm way better and gets a great amount of motion. The old Luffy can't crunch forwards hardly any at all, while the new Luffy can crunch a pretty good waist forwards. For the waist articulation, on the new one it works really well, but on the old one it just doesn't work that good. Now let's address the legs on these figures, because this is something I've really been wanting to talk about. The original Luffy's legs are on a ball joint and go this far forwards, this far backwards, and this far outwards. And then the new Luffy's legs are on a straight peg, and the legs get around the same amount of movement. But sadly, since the new Luffy's legs are on a straight peg, and he doesn't have a thigh swivel, he can't sit crisscross applesauce. But the old Luffy's legs being on a ball peg and having a twist at the thigh allow him to sit crisscross applesauce. Then for the knees, the old Luffy's are double jointed and get a great amount of flexion. Like, look at it, amazing. Then the new Luffy has doo-doo ass knee articulation, as it is single jointed and only bends around 90 degrees. Straight up disgusted with this knee joint, pitiful that they regress in over 10 years, but at least it can rotate at the knees while the old one can't. Ankle articulation is pretty much the same, but the toe joints are different, as the new Luffy sandal moves from the bottom of his foot when he uses his toe joint, and the old one is ugly. Overall for the articulation, I'm about to say that this is a draw, because yeah, the new Luffy has better upper body articulation, but its legs aren't able to move as freely as the old Luffy's legs. So, they each have their pros and cons, but I'd rather have a decent upper body articulation combined with good lower body articulation, instead of good upper body articulation and mid lower body articulation. So, my heart is really telling me that the old Luffy wins, but y'all let me know who y'all think wins this one. Final verdict on articulation? Draw? Maybe? Scale-wise, these figures are both the same scale, so they'll look about the same with any figure you choose to have them with. Like, here they are next to Naruto, here they are next to Demon Knight Fit Goku, here they are next to Sanji and Zoro, here they are next to Team Gojo, here they are next to Full Power Frieza, and lastly, here they are next to Storm Collectibles Yujiro Hanma.
Hurry up and let me ride it! Hurry up and let me ride it!
My final thoughts about the comparison between these two is that they are both good. The new Luffy definitely wins in the looks department, but looks aren't everything, because the old one can pose a lot easier to me. And the old one comes with a Gum Gum accessory, while the new one doesn't. But the new one does come with a much bigger meat. I really could say one is better than the other, but honestly, I really appreciate both of them. One figure is from the early days of figure arts, and the new one's from the modern days of figure arts. Each of them have their place in my collection. Now, which one would I say cop? The new one. He's $35, and if you buy the Gum Gum Effect kit with it, it'll bring your total to like $70 for this figure, which is still a lot cheaper than getting the original Luffy, and you get a lot more at the end of the day. But you know, if you're someone like me who loves One Piece and is a fan of Luffy's character, then owning both of these figures isn't a bad thing at all, because we all know One Piece is on top.